Hey everybody, Jerry Wagner here, Vice President of HVAC Technical Training. This is the third in a series of videos to coincide with the Gree Sapphire installation manual. Although we're using the Sapphire as our working example, all Gree mini splits are similar in their installation requirements. Okay, let's turn to page number 8 and take a look at the installation site instructions. Starting with the indoor unit, we need to be sure the installation complies with the minimum clearances. As you see here, we need 6 inches on the right, 6 inches on the left, 6 inches off the top, and ideally 6 feet off of the floor. Here we are with our Sapphire 9000 BTU indoor unit. You can see that we clearly have 6 inches off the right, 6 inches off the left, and 6 inches off the top of the unit. Ideally, we want the indoor unit to be 6 feet off of the floor. And that's exactly what we have here in our installation. We're 6 feet above the floor. We need to be sure that the installation will meet the minimum and maximum line set requirement, as well as the maximum elevation between the outdoor and indoor unit. We'll talk more about that in the video dedicated to piping installation. We need to be sure that the air inlet and outlet of the indoor unit will be free of obstructions. We have to tell our customer, Mrs. Gillicuddy, that she can't be putting a bookcase in front of this thing after we leave. Now we need to be sure that the condensate can be easily and safely drained. Installing the indoor unit on an outside wall like we are here is preferred because it allows the condensate to gravity drain. No pump required. We need to be sure that the connections between the indoor and outdoor unit can be made easily. Not going to be a problem here. Our outdoor unit is just on the other side of the wall from our indoor unit. The indoor unit must be out of the reach of children. There are moving parts in this thing. If Mrs. Gillicuddy's 10-year-old grandson decides to put his fingers in there, his new nickname is going to be Lefty. The wall that we're mounting the indoor unit onto must be strong enough to withstand 4 times its weight. Not a problem here. Our wall is 2x4 construction, 16-inch on center. The filters of the indoor unit need to be accessible so that they can be cleaned on a regular basis. There always needs to be enough free space around the indoor unit so that regular maintenance can be performed. We need to install the indoor unit at least 10 feet away from any TV antenna, assuming Mrs. Gillicuddy is the last person on Earth without cable. And we don't want to install the indoor unit in a laundry room because of the corrosive nature of detergents. Same thing goes for indoor swimming pools. Chlorine is quite corrosive as well. Okay, well let's turn to page number 9 and let's review the installation site instructions now for the outdoor unit. We need to be sure the location of the outdoor unit is going to meet all the minimum clearance requirements. We need a minimum clearance of 12 inches off the left, but we need 20 inches off the right. And the difference between the right and the left is the right is what I call the business side. It's where you're going to be making your line set connections and your electrical connections. We need to have a minimum of 12 inches off the back of the unit, but please, give yourself enough room to walk behind it. 12 inches is not enough. And what I believe is the most important clearance is 20 inches off the top, because 80% of all service work performed on the outdoor unit will be accessed through the top of the unit. And then lastly, we need at least 2 feet of clearance off the front of the unit. We need to have free air movement in and out of the outdoor unit. It's common practice and often code required to have the outdoor unit mounted on a pad. Generally, the thickness of that pad is 2 to 3 inches. The states of Florida and California have very specific code requirements for bolting the outdoor unit down to a poured concrete slab. Please defer to your local code requirements. You don't want to install the outdoor unit where the operating noise of the outdoor unit might be offensive to neighbors. This is actually highly unlikely with the Gree Sapphire 9000 BTU outdoor unit because its operating decibel level is only 53 decibels. We want to be sure that the connections between the indoor and outdoor unit can be made easily. That's not going to be a problem here with our installation, and we'll talk more about it in the video dedicated to piping installation. We need to be able to have free air movement both in and out of the outdoor unit. So we have to be sure Mrs. Gillicuddy isn't going to plant the bush in front of this thing after we leave. If we decide to install the outdoor unit on the wall of the structure, we'll need to be sure that that wall can handle the weight of the outdoor unit. We want to avoid installing the outdoor unit where children might play. So it's not a good idea to put the outdoor unit in the kids' sandbox. Ideally, we want to keep the outdoor unit away from direct sunlight, excessive dust, and strong wind. We need to be sure that the condensate that the outdoor unit produces during the heating season can be drained easily and safely. The condensate fitting that comes with the outdoor unit can only be used when the outdoor unit is being elevated on a wall bracket. We'll talk more about this in the video dedicated to the outdoor unit installation. We always need to be sure that there's going to be ample room around the outdoor unit for us to perform annual maintenance and repairs as needed. And lastly, we need to ensure that the installation site complies with the minimum and the maximum line set connecting lengths, as well as the maximum elevation between the indoor and outdoor unit. We'll talk more about this in the video dedicated to the piping installation. Well, okay, that's it for now. The next video will be dedicated to the indoor unit installation. Thanks, and I'll talk to you soon.